Morning. Good morning and welcome to the Sunday morning service here at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship in Laguna Beach. We are glad that you're here. We're glad that you've joined us today for worship at UUFLB. The land on which we join together in worship is the ancestral and unceded territory of the Ahashimen and Tongva tribes. And we acknowledge these indigenous peoples as traditional land caretakers who, in the face of settler colonialism, continue to claim their place and to act as stewards to protect their ancestral lands and to protect the earth as they have for the past 8,000 years. We offer our gratitude to the First Nations for their care of the earth and for their teachings, and with humility we commit to learning and working on behalf of justice. Each Sunday, anywhere there is a service held in a Unitarian Universalist congregation, a chalice is lit. The flaming chalice is the symbol of our faith. So if you have joined us this morning by Zoom, I invite you to light a chalice within your home as I light the chalice here at UUFLB. Our chalice lighting words this morning were written by the Reverend Claudine Oliva, who served as the minister of the UU congregation in Flint, in Michigan, and also previously in Evansville, Indiana, and here in California in Santa Cruz County. We light this chalice for mothers and mothering, to celebrate those who have taken on the task of nurturing a young one, a baby, child, or youth, into adulthood, to celebrate those who have nourished the light of truth and compassion in growing minds and hearts, to celebrate those who have committed time, money, energy to the growth of others in our world. We light this chalice to celebrate and hold dear this flame of love. My name is Pamela Floodman, and I will be serving as the worship associate this morning. And I want to say many thanks to everyone who has joined together this week, as this group does every week, to make worship possible. And this includes our worship committee, our board, our Zoom and audiovisual techs, our music director, all those who help take care of our building and ensure that we can gather together for worship. We are grateful for all the members and friends of this congregation. You really are an amazing team of people who make it a priority that we are able to gather together for worship on Sunday mornings and to continue our work in community throughout each week. So I want to say a big thank you to all of you. At UUFLB, we are a welcoming congregation with a commitment to work together to make a difference and to actively dismantle systemic racism and oppression in all of its forms. Whoever you are, whomever you love, no matter your age or gender, your ancestral or ethnic background, your life experiences, and whatever has brought you here this morning, and whatever sincere questions that you bring with you today, we welcome you to our community of mutual caring and serious intent to grow as spiritual and ethical beings and to make a difference in our world. This morning, we are absolutely delighted to welcome our guest speaker, Yvette McDonnell. Yvette has spoken with us several times previously here at UUFLB, and it is always a joy and an honor when she is able to join us from her home base on the East Coast in Maine. I love the words that one of Yvette's professors at Starr King School for the Ministry, Reverend Anthony Johnson, used to describe her. He wrote, "Yvette is a learned elder in training." Yvette writes that she is the actualization of her ancestors' dreams. Her spiritual formation is rooted in African spirituality, ancestral knowledge, and earth and goddess-based intuitive healing. She is connected with all beings in the material world and the other worlds that exist, the dream world, the world where our ancestors have passed, and everything in between. Yvette's ministry is grounded in relational and social justice, which she profoundly believes is spiritual work, and I know many of us here resonate with that belief as well. Yvette believes that her liberation is working in spaces and creating realities that do not exist yet, which allows her to plant seeds for future generations. And in today's service, on this Mother's Day Sunday, Yvette is inviting us to take a moment to recognize the many ways in which people can be mothers. Today, Yvette will be bringing us together with her on a journey as she shares the story of Norma, a small olive-skinned woman with dark hair and sunglasses who planted grass and who impacted Yvette's life. Unitarian Universalists subscribe to no single religious creed, but have gathered a set of principles that guide us as we build religious community together. The principles that Unitarian Universalist congregations affirm and promote are on the back of your order of service, which if you haven't done so already, you can pick up in the back of the sanctuary. Now on the slide that Dawn will pull up for us here at UUFLB. And I want to start by inviting people to join us next Sunday on May 19th, when one of our members, Mike Radcliffe, will be joining us to lead a service focused on technology and is it all good? So I think that will probably be a thought-provoking service. Then on May 26th, Reverend Stephanie Etzbach-Dale will be joining us for a service entitled The Months Ahead. And Reverend Stephanie will be talking with us about accessing hope and courage so that we can stay engaged in the months ahead as we all face what's ahead of us in 2024. I think that's going to be an important service as well. And then in June, we'll have two returning speakers, Reverend Celia Young, and also Greg Klein will be returning to join us in June. So I hope that you're able to join with us for these services, either here in person at UUFLB or on Zoom. I also want to remind people that every Monday at noon, we have a group of people who join together and are always looking forward to having new faces and new voices join for the Zoom at Noon discussion group, Mondays at noon, which Paul Bogdan helps to lead. So if you don't already have the information in the email invitation to join that group by Zoom, speak with one of us after service and we'll make sure that you get added to the email invitation list for that and for all of the different events that occur here at UUFLB. Coming up in the next few weeks, then we do have the board meeting coming up on, I believe, tomorrow evening, May 13th. It happens by Zoom at 6 p.m. on the second Monday of the month. And then the third Tuesday of the month, which is next Tuesday, May 21st, the worship committee joins to plan worship for the upcoming months. And again, everyone is welcome to join these meetings by Zoom if they wish. Check with us if you need the links. Also, just a quick reminder that our pledge drive has begun, and so please engage with the fellowship leadership with respect to getting your pledge information in so that we can continue to make plans for the coming year here. I also have a really important announcement about an upcoming event that's happening at Tapestry, which is another one of the Orange County UU congregations here in Lake Forest, really just up the street from us here in Laguna Beach. And so there's information on your screen, and I also have information on a flyer that I've printed out and you can pick up in the back of the sanctuary here. Tapestry, together with CLUE, which is the Clergy and Laity United for Economic Justice, are putting together an evening event which will be held at Tapestry on Thursday, May 23rd, 6 to 8 p.m. in the evening. And in addition to in-person, they also have a Zoom opportunity to join. And this is a faith-rooted conversation on the work of the California Reparations Task Force. So the meeting is a chance to review the findings of this task force, which were published last June, regarding the ongoing and compounding harms experienced by African Americans as a result of slavery and its lingering effects in American society and here in California. And importantly, this meeting is also an opportunity to learn more about the bills of reparative legislation, which are currently winding their way through the legislative committees in Sacramento. And with community support, these measures have the possibility to become law. So CLUE and Tapestry have invited UU congregations throughout Orange County to participate. And I hope that there are many of us who are able to join this important conversation so that we can learn and also learn how to act. Throughout the service this morning, if you're here with us in the building, I do invite you, if you wish, to come forward and light a candle here in the sanctuary, if you wish, in recognition of whatever it is that you're carrying in your heart as you join us for worship today. And it really is a joy for us to have guests on Sunday mornings. So if you're joining us this morning for the first or second time, we'd love to have the opportunity to get to know you. If you're comfortable doing so, we'll first ask those who've joined us by Zoom. If they're visiting for the first or second time on Zoom, you can raise your hand so that Dawn can recognize you and spotlight you and give you a chance just to share with us your name, where you are from, and what brings you to visit our church today. Is there anyone on Zoom who wants to introduce themselves? And is there anyone here in the building who would like to, who's here for the first or second time and would like to introduce themselves? Okay, well, what we're going to do now is take just a moment to turn to our neighbors for a quick greeting and to offer personal welcome to old and to new friends.
Happy Sunday and happy Mother's Day to everybody joining us via Zoom.
Thank you, Don. How goes it in Henderson?
The weather is beautiful and Mother's Day plans are in full swing.
Oh, wonderful. Me too. Me too. I've got dinner at my son's and friends and family together for this evening, so that's nice. And all my kids called me, so yeah, life is good. Is Jean, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day, Jean.
Thank you. You too.
Are your kids going to take you out later?
I'm not sure. I'm getting lots of flowers, though.
Oh, wonderful. Very good.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Your band's coming home.
Here at UUFLB this morning. Thank you for being here for worship, and we hope that everyone has a few minutes to stay and enjoy coffee and conversation after the service, and we'll set up the iPad and the laptop so that folks can also connect with the people who have joined us by Zoom today. And I want to say a special thank you to Yvette McDonnell for joining us today to share with us her thoughts on this Mother's Day Sunday as we worship together.
Good morning, everyone on the West Coast, and good afternoon to everyone here on the East Coast and everywhere in between. It's so good to see you all today. We are so glad that you're here. I am so glad to be here, and thank you for having me back today at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Laguna Beach. As Pamela has said, I am Yvette McDonnell. I am an interfaith chaplain, spiritual companion ritualist, curandera, root woman, sage, seer, wise woman, and in many places, I need no name at all. I want to open our fellowship time together today with the UU's first principle, which is the inherent worth and dignity of every person. And as many across the country and even around the world are celebrating Mother's Day today, many mothers will be greeted with cards and brunch and plants and gifts of all kinds. There are also many who aren't celebrating Mother's Day today. And then there are those who may actually be dreading this day and who aren't being celebrated at all. Today, I want to acknowledge all the joys, the sorrows, the hopes, and healing that Mother's Day can bring up for some. I want to share a poem that I wrote that was inspired by a woman of the name of Amy Young. Years ago, she spoke to her pastor about the Mother's Day service, where moms were asked to stand year after year after year. And Amy always felt this request somewhat alienating. And she said, I believe we can honor mothers without alienating others. I want women to feel welcome, appreciated, and seen, needed here in our little neck of the body of Christ. Amy Young's words and poem moved me today as the grounding component of my offerings with you all today, wanting and needing to acknowledge the wide continuum of mothering. And in acknowledging that wide continuum of mothering, I am sending you light to those who have given birth. I am sending you light to those who have lost a child or children through miscarriage and adoptions that didn't go through. I am sending you light to all the teachers in the world that show up daily. I am sending you light to all the foster moms, mentors, and spiritual mothers. I am sending you light to those who have disappointment, heartache, and distance with your children and or your own mother. I am sending you light to those who lost their mothers, who are no longer here in the physical world. I am sending you light to those who are expecting a child or children as we speak. I am sending you light to those grandparents that are raising your children's children. I am sending you light to those who have a warm and close relationship with their mother. I am sending you light to those who are stepmothers and aunties. I am sending you light to the expansiveness of what a mother is and can be. I am sending you light to the mother who couldn't be there. I am sending you light to mothers of all kinds with many stories, complexities, joy, heartache, and pain. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. As we call ourselves into fellowship today with one another, I invite us to take a deep breath and visualize sending light to all those mothering on the continuum with Melanie D'Amour's song, I Am Sending You Light, performed with Julie Wolfe.
I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. No matter where you go, no matter where you've been, you'll never walk alone. I feel you deep within. So I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to heal you, hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. No matter what you feel or what you choose to show, I'm always there for you. And so I want you to know that I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I walk the path with you. Go slow, dear one. 'Cause I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love.
Let us take a moment now to remind ourselves why we come together as a community. I invite you to read these words of our unison affirmation together when and if it feels right for you. The words will come up on the screen. And if you've joined us by Zoom, you may want to unmute your microphone so that we can hear your voice joined together with the voices here in the building. The words of the unison affirmation are on your screens, and please join me together in reading. Love,
Love
spirit
is
of
the spirit of this fellowship,
Yes.
service,
and service is its law.
we
This is our great covenant to dwell together in peace,
peace,
to seek the truth in love,
truth,
and to help one another.
to help one another. We have come to a time in our service to briefly share important events that have touched our lives in the past week. It is a blessing to be part of sustaining a community where we can share our sorrows and provide for each other the support and care that really are essential for all of us. And also a community where we can share our joys so that they can be amplified and extend beyond ourselves. So during this time of sharing our joys and concerns, we have paused the recording of and stand in body, mind, or spirit to sing together with our musical director, number 1051, a favorite hymn here, We Are. And the words will be on the screen, or you can pick up a hymnal in the back. Please join in singing, We Are.
For each child.
Thank you, Carol. It is as much a blessing to be able to give as it is to receive. And in this self-governing, self-sustaining community, we recognize that it is our responsibility to do both, and to do both well. So in this time of offering, we will be passing a basket here within the fellowship, and the information on your screen provides additional ways in which you can give. Please join us in singing to each other now words of sincere gratitude. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
From I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
Now I invite you to sit comfortably. Maybe place your feet comfortably on the floor and let your hands relax in your lap. Allow your muscles to relax as you breathe in and out, in and out. And we will have a short time of silent meditation.
For those of you who may be joining us just now, my name is Yvette McDonnell, and I'm an interfaith chaplain, spiritual companion, ritualist, curandera, root woman, sage, seer, wise woman, and in some places I need no name at all. Thank you all for having me back today. Before I begin to share, I must magnify today's music selection that is rooted in a tapestry of gospel music, ancestors, and centered on healing, hope, and light. I draw upon wisdom and teachings from all that surrounds me, including, but not limited to, what exists here in the material world and in the dream world, nature, music, poetry, movement, and the many faiths and ways of being in the world. The last time I was here with you all was back in, I think, January of 2023, and I shared a sermon about planting seeds and getting into good trouble. Well, today I want to share another inspirational, very personal story about Norma. Norma is a small olive-skinned woman with dark hair and sunglasses who planted grass and mothered me in ways which left many teachings that have impacted my life today. My story about Norma is not succinct. My story is and has been in the making for over 29 years. Filled with feelings that live in my body, wonderment, nostalgia, regret, chuckles of laughter and joy. There are moments that feel so real, I can almost touch and smell and taste them. There are aspects of my story that are hard to articulate with words that resonate so deeply inside of me that they feel sacred. So, please bear with me as I meander along the grounds of memories that take twists and turns along the way and share as best as I can about my best friend's mother, Norma, a woman who is not my mother, but who mothered me nonetheless, and who has left me with some of the biggest life lessons and gifts I have only begun to uncover recently over the last 10 years or so. Okay. Well, let me give you a little backstory about how I met Norma. It was in May or June back in 1995. I was only 19 years old when I was at the University of Connecticut finishing up my first year of undergrad. That year, I became friends with Alexa, a girl who lived down the hall in the same dorm as me. At first, Alexa and I, we did not like each other at all. But somewhere along the beginning of my first year at UConn, to the end of that year, our friendship began to bloom. We became inseparable. Alexa grew up and lived not too far away from the school. And over the course of the first year of our friendship, she had invited me over to her house several times to eat. And that is when I met Norma. So when Alexa introduced me to Norma, Norma took it upon herself to call me Trixie instead of Yvette, which at the time I found odd, but for some reason I didn't mind. As I said, Norma was a petite woman with olive skin and dark brown hair, and she had a unique energy that I had never encountered before. She even wore sunglasses indoors all the time, which added to her mysterious aura. So, when I would visit Alexa at her house, I often saw Norma walking around the grounds. This is what she called her property, the grounds. So, when she was walking about the grounds, most of the time she was barefoot. She usually had on some type of colorful mix match outfit, and her nails and toes were painted this pinkish color. And to accompany this pinkish nail polish, her hands and feet were the color of the earth, as she always seemed to be outside tending to it. Now, at the time, my 19-year-old self thought Norma to be peculiar, a little quirky, different. Not only did I see Norma as odd, her house matched her one-of-a-kind personality. I had never seen a house like my friend Alexa's house before. Norma and Alexa's home was the type of home that we would see today on Instagram that boasted making your living space a magical playground. The house was airy, and it sat on top of a hill, and it had this open, flowing floor plan. There were glass windows everywhere, so the natural light could get in. There were plants, many books, stairways leading here and there. There were plates and dishes and furniture that didn't match, but strangely looked amazing together. And there was a porch that caught the day's sun for the best sunbathing one could ever wish for. There was art about, there was jazz music playing softly in the background, and I think NPR was also on. And in the evening, when the sun would go down, the house was dim, warm, very inviting, with twinkle lights everywhere. You know, like the white Christmas tree lights. It was magical. Even if I didn't know it at the time, my body knew it, and I carried this with me over the years. There was this wood stove downstairs that always had paper in it. And at the time, I was so perplexed and I could not understand why they would keep their trash in their wood stove. You know, I ate many, many meals with my friend Alexa and her mom, Norma. They introduced me to Middle Eastern cuisine. This was the first time I had hummus and olives, pita bread, and baba ganoush, if I'm saying that correctly, which were my all-time favorites. And if I remember correctly, on Sundays, Norma would make these pancakes. They were flat, tangy, and very, very good. They were nothing like any pancakes I had ever had before. She had made them from this mixture that she kept in the refrigerator. At the time, I didn't know, but now I know that that mixture in the refrigerator was a sourdough. And those flat, tangy pancakes were from the pour-off of the sourdough. I only realized this during the pandemic when I too had a strange mixture of sourdough starter on my countertop, and I used the pour-off to make sourdough pancakes one day. And it wasn't until my first bite back then during the pandemic that that tanginess of the flat pancakes transported me back to Norma's kitchen. One of my favorite appetizers and recipes that Norma made had no official name. At least I don't believe that it did. It was this block of cream cheese that was covered in toasted sesame seeds. And then it was drenched in soy sauce. And it was served with toasted pita bread. This recipe that has no name, this used to be my go-to for potluck dishes in my late 20s and early 30s. And it was always a hit. Over the course of years, Alexa became more like a sister to me than a friend. My mom even became friends with Norma. And every time my mom would come to visit me at UConn, Norma always had us over. And I remember one time we all went to go see Nancy Wilson and Harry Belafonte perform. I even went to Washington, D.C. in the Smithsonian with Alexa and Norma. And one of our favorite things to do together was to go shopping at the boutique, which was just another name for a thrift store. Norma, like my mom, had a gift for shopping at boutiques. Norma's eclectic clothing style and home decor was very much fashioned from her treasure finds from the various boutiques that she had acquainted over the years. You know, there were some other odd things Norma did that I had never seen anyone do, and I didn't understand them at the time. One thing I remember about Norma is that she loved herself a good buffet. Yet I rarely saw her eat a ton of food at her house. I do remember, though, that she snacked a lot on nuts and seeds throughout the day. The other thing Norma did was she used to send my friend Alexa back to campus with which seemed like a ton of vitamins that she lovingly placed in these pill cases. And the most peculiar thing I saw Norma do was when I saw this woman outside. She was on her hands and her knees with her pink fingernail polish, transplanting grass. She was literally moving grass from one area of the grounds to another area that needed more grass. I didn't ask any questions. I just shrugged it off as, oh yeah, of course, Norma is doing this. It's a very Norma thing to do. And I just went on about my day. Time passed, and I graduated with my undergrad and grad degree from UConn. Norma even came out to eat with my family after my graduation, and she gifted me an original Norma painting of her house that was on the hill that overlooked a nearby lake. It was lovingly addressed to Trixie and signed with her famous 3 hearts and her name, Norma. I stayed in contact with Norma over the years. Oh, this telling the story is harder than I thought. I was honored. I was honored when Norma accepted my invitation to my wedding with her iconic Norma look that included sunglasses, of course, and a sundress and this colorful red hat that I knew that she had picked up at some boutique. And on May 9th, 2010, on May 9th, 2010, on Mother's Day, Norma was taken to the hospital. And sometime between the night of May 9th to the early morning of May 10th, she went into a coma. And I remember it like it was yesterday, getting a call from my dear friend Alexa, telling me what had happened. And without hesitation, my husband and I packed up our 1-year-old and some things in a bag, and we headed to the hospital in Connecticut from Maine. And as Norma lay there in a coma, I had the privilege and honor to sit with her by myself just for a bit. And I held her hand and I sang a song to her and told her how much I loved her. And in those quiet moments, I regret not asking Norma more about her ways of how she showed up in the world. Norma passed away, surrounded by family and friends on May 10th, the day after Mother's Day. And although Norma is not here in the physical world anymore, she comes and visits with me numerous times in my dreams. Her spirit lives on, and I feel her presence a lot. And now I have my own house with 3 acres of grounds to walk about. I now understand what I thought was Norma's quirky, odd, eccentric behavior was really Norma just not giving a damn. She was free. She was out there in the world living her life. I now have such a deep admiration and understanding of just a small piece of who Norma was in the world. Norma moves through me with a feeling and sense of intuitiveness. And I move with the rhythm of nature, filling my house with natural light and plants. And as spring and summer come and go, my hands too are the color of earth, just like Norma's, as I tend my own grounds and feed my family from my organic garden. My home is warm and welcoming with books and art and an eclectic style of mix-match furniture and dishes. And in every apartment I had ever lived in, including my current house that I have now, I always needed to have and currently have twinkle Christmas tree lights up. These lights offer a calming mood in the wee hours of the morning and night, just like Norma's house. Norma's home was the first place I had ever experienced that type of coziness in a home. I now understand why Norma put trash in her wood stove, as I too put trash, or I should say paper, in my wood stove to get it started. I now understand the importance that seeds and nuts play in our overall health and why snacking on a handful a day is beneficial. I too make sourdough pancakes when my daughter is requesting comfort snacks when she is studying. I too lovingly fill my daughter's pillbox with vitamins because now I understand. I continue to shop at boutiques as though I am on Fifth Avenue, collecting odds and ends that adorn my body as a sacred temple. A couple of summers ago, I did the most Norma thing ever. I transplanted grass. Yes, my husband and I transplanted grass from one area of our land to another. If that isn't the most Norma thing ever, then I don't know what is. And it was in that moment that I got it, that I understood why she transplanted grass and so much more that lives on inside of me today. Over the years, Norma modeled a way of life for me that was new and different. Norma was like a mother to me, and I don't think she intentionally set out to mother me and provide me with life lessons, but she did, just like she transplanted the grass from one part of the grounds to another, and that grass grew. Norma transplanted life lessons to me that grew over the years. And at the age of 49, I am proud that I too am quirky, odd, eccentric, and live in an eclectic style house and transplant grass like Norma. Whenever I see a rainbow or hear the Israel, I cannot pronounce his last name, version of Somewhere Over the Rainbow, I lovingly think of Norma and my heart is warmed. I invite you all to sing together, muted, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, as we remember mothers of all kinds today.
see skies of blue and I see clouds of white and the brightness of day. I like the dark and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, singing, how do you do? They really say, I love you. I hear babies cry and I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than we'll know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Someday I wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where trouble melts like a lemon drops high above the chimney top. That's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. The dream that you dare to, why, oh, why can't
Thank you, Yvette, for sharing your thoughts and your recollections with us. They connected with me. And as we keep in our minds the sounds of Over the Rainbow, we wanted to share with you this photo that Yvette shared of her dear friend, Norma. And now is the time for us to extinguish the chalice here at UUFLB and within our homes. And the words of our chalice extinguishing today are from Brian Keeley, minister of the Kelowna Unitarians in British Columbia. The chalice is now extinguished, but its light lives on in the minds and hearts and soul of each one of you. Carry that flame with you as you leave this place and share it with those you know, with those you love, and most especially with those you have yet to meet. And now we'll turn to Yvette for our benediction, followed by our closing song, Let There Be Peace on Earth.
Thank you. And as we come to a close of our fellowship time together today, I ask you as a UU community and as individuals, how will you affirm and promote the first principle, honoring the inherent worth and dignity of every person this Mother's Day and every Mother's Day moving forward? How can you hold and honor the expansiveness and the continuum of what it means to be a mother? I invite you to ponder who has mothered you in your lifetime that you can honor, send a note to of thanks, or share their story. And how can you be someone's Norma? Thank you for sharing in my story and holding the space for mothers of all kinds today. Ashe, amen, and blessed be.
In our closing song, Let There Be Peace on Earth.
Let there be peace on earth with me. There we are family. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. With me, let this be the moment. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Happy Mother's Day.